Welcome to Aging Matters, a program featuring individuals who talk about aging-related topics of interest to older adults and their families. I'm Cheryl Beversdorf, your host. Adaptive clothing is specialized clothing that is modified to enable easier dressing for people with a disability and some degree of difficulty dressing themselves. The clothing is customized to help these people with limited mobility and physical challenges to dress independently. Today, my guest is Brenda Wilton with Authored, a company that offers a line of classic apparel designed for dignity and independence. Brenda is going to talk about the types and styles of adaptive clothing her company offers. She's also going to describe special features each clothing item has to help an individual dress or be dressed while still looking fashionable. And then finally, she's going to provide information about how and where to purchase these clothing items. So welcome, Brenda, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Cheryl.
Well, let's start out by getting a definition of adaptive clothing. What is it, and what features make it different from regular clothing?
Adaptive clothing is clothing that has been uniquely designed with strategic openings and special closures to make it more accessible for someone to assist with dressing or for a person who is dressing independently to better maneuver the clothing onto their body.
And this adaptive clothing is, I'm just kind of curious, is this kind of a new concept? Has this been around for a while, or?
Well, actually, it's been around for a while, but it's getting a lot more attention as the size of the baby boomer population increases, and also as more and more people are aware of this particular group of people who do not have access to clothing that fits their body's needs.
And so this idea of designing adaptive clothing, what was the situation? I mean, was it older adults? Was it people with disabilities? Or who kind of got started in doing this?
Well, it started, of course, in the population. There are many people that have different effects from physical mobility issues, maybe their dexterity issues, and they weren't able to put on regular clothing. When you think about putting a shirt on and you're putting your arms up over your head, there are some diseases, disabilities, and also the aging impact effects that affect how we dress and how we undress. And so given all of that information, it affects the design of the clothing.
So help us understand then who actually wears adaptive clothing. I mean, talk a little bit more about the kinds of health conditions that older adults might have. Absolutely. And I suspect there might be a lot of different situations, physical as well as mental or whatever. So
absolutely.
Explain that to us.
Truly, any of us could be in need of adaptive clothing, and I was years ago. In the 9th grade, through school screening, I was diagnosed with scoliosis and wore a Milwaukee back brace.
Wow.
So it was a back brace that literally with a leather girdle and held my chin up, and so normal attire was not something that I was able to wear any longer. That affected how I felt about myself, and the impact of my family shopping for clothing for me was a struggle. People now with aging impacts on their body. We lose some dexterity as we age, sometimes a disease or a disability such as multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's disease. All of these affect the ability to manipulate clothing and also to be able to move around in the clothing and comfortably put it on and take it off.
And I would imagine too, I mean, one thing that you often hear also about is a stroke.
Correct.
That's somebody, so that there might be partial paralysis. Is that a possibility as well?
Absolutely. Strokes, diabetes, any type of cancer management, dialysis, any limitations to the body, any inability to be able to move your arms or your legs, or think about it's an every day. We get up, we're a day older, and we each have to dress before we move about for the day. And at the end of the day, we undress and start over in our pajamas or night clothing. So it's the ability to get in and out of that clothing easily. And if it's a caregiver that's assisting a person in need of dressing,
very important,
or toileting,
right?
And as more and more aging, more and more people are sharing homes and their family members are in need of assistance, we might have to get up and go to the office, and before we do, dress one of our parents. And so it's something that can go on in a timely manner, safely, without causing risk to the person that is being dressed, and also not risking the health or the physical ability of the person assisting with the dressing.
So this really does help to make people feel more independent.
Absolutely.
And so, and as you said, it also helps the family members and the caregivers get these kind of clothing onto the individual.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Absolutely. For some people, just the daily dressing is such a difficult or painful obstacle to their day that they may decide that they're not getting dressed. They stay in their night clothes and maybe even stay in bed.
Sure.
With ability to dress in something easier, they're able to get up and do as much as they possibly can, and maybe they just need a little assistance with the final bit of closure or with something where they just need to reach on the back or put their arm in the side. So that's assistance that if they can do more themselves, the caregiver has an easier time of assisting, and the person that's self-dressing, it's a sense of independence which restores their dignity. Think about this. When we're children, we're encouraged to become independent and dress ourselves daily.
Of course.
As we age and we start to lose some of those functions of activities of daily living, it not only affects our physical well-being, but also our emotional well-being. So the activity of daily dressing, as much as we can continue to allow an independent person to dress by themselves, it encourages them to be more active with their life.
And so if I or my spouse or I was a caregiver was going to look to purchase adaptive clothing, what would I look for? I mean, I'm really eager to find out, because you usually don't see this when you're just going to the mall and that. So what would you look for in terms of styles and sizes, colors, fashions? What kinds of attributes do these adaptive clothing have?
Well, they're not fully in the marketplace yet, so most of your shopping would need to be done online. There are a couple of lines that pieces are being made available.
All right.
But start by Googling adaptive apparel, clothing for the elderly, clothing for disabilities. And lately there has been more interest, so there are more opportunities online. It's clothing that has unique features of openings, as I mentioned. It's almost, think of it as a custom design with strategic engineered openings that make it possible to quickly and easily put your arms into something or your legs into something. The fit is as important as all of the other functionality.
I would imagine.
What happens oftentimes when you think of about a person who's aging and clothing is difficult to get on, a lot of people buy larger sizes. And then the person that's dressed in the larger size does not feel very comfortable with themselves. It also is a safety hazard. They can catch their clothing on their seats, on their wheelchairs, on anything in the house that could cause tripping, or just catching of fabric that could cause falls. When you think about forcing bodies into clothing that is designed for younger bodies, it can cause skin tears and dislocations, bruising, and such. And those are all things that we don't normally think about until we personally are addressing the dressing challenge, either for ourselves or for someone that we're assisting with dressing.
So I think probably the thing that our viewers would most like to hear is, are adaptive clothing items fashionable? Do people feel socially acceptable? Do they feel good in their clothing?
That was one of the reasons that I created Authored, because clothing does not have to look like it's adaptive when someone's wearing it. This is actually one of the pieces from my collection, and people don't point out that it's adaptive. I wear it on a regular basis, and many people have purchased it who have no need of adaptive clothing. For someone who deals with a family member that may have dementia or Alzheimer, this is a garment that can be put on from the bottom up, and it resists the opportunity for someone to be combative during dressing. So again, it reduces the opportunity for safety issues. So now, yes, there are some stylish pieces, and there are some companies that are putting more stylish pieces out there as it becomes more necessary for a larger population.
And just one quick, before we start looking at a demonstration of this, the fashions are available for men and women?
Correct. My line currently has 4 different styles of pants for men, and there are 5 different polo shirts and 1 pullover. For the women, I have 2 dresses and a couple of different tops, and we'll be introducing some bottoms in the spring. As a matter of fact, there are some of the pieces that when you have them on, you would not be able to tell they're adaptive unless someone points out some of the functionality of the garment, and then only then would you know that it's actually adaptive apparel.
All right, well then let's look at how a man and a woman would be attired in adaptive clothing, and then I guess you will also be showing some other styles that you have available.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd love to do that. Thank you.
So let's take a look.
We're going to start with this gentleman, and I'm coming in as a caregiver that's not met with him before. He's had a stroke on the left side of his body, and he would like to wear a polo shirt today. This polo shirt appears to be just like any that you would buy off the shelf. Underneath both arms is a zipper, and there are zipper guards that protect against any skin abrasions. It has a zippered neck, a button at the neck. We're going to start out by just sliding the shirt up his arm, over his head, and if he is wearing glasses, this is actually designed that it would fit over his glasses. We're going to have him lean slightly forward, and then just reaching for the other arm and inserting it in the arm opening. Zipper down on the side, and the other side, and then just adjust the buttons on the front. It's a stand-up collar, and I'm going to ask you to stand up, please. And this is an example of a polo shirt that was easily put on. There was no safety risk to him or to myself. You don't see any abrasions against the skin, and if you would turn for me, please. It's a comfortable shirt that is stylish, and as you can see, it went on very quickly. Now, if you would turn around and sit down for me, we'll demonstrate how easy it is to take off. Start with unbuttoning at the neck, and then again, going back to under the arm, just zip up. If he is sitting on the shirt, just gently pull up from the back. Unzip the other side, and then taking the arm, putting it down through the arm opening. It's easier if you actually take both arms out first, gently, and then simply taking the shirt off from the back to the front. And that's how easy it is to put a shirt on and take a shirt off that's adapted for any types of mobility issues. We're also going to look at the pants that he's wearing. Would you stand up for me, please? This is one pair of pants in the collection that's designed with a zipper from the waist to mid-thigh on both sides, and it allows for assistance with dressing while he's seated. He would only have to stand up one time, and the zipper actually allows for the pant to be pulled up in the front. He can sit back down, and I would be able to zip it up while he's seated, reducing the amount of time that he's standing, which can potentially be a fall risk. If you would turn around for me, please. The back of the pant, the side of the pant, all look absolutely normal, and they function just like any other pant. There are adjustments on the size that if his weight fluctuates down a little bit, you can adjust the clothing so he would have more opportunity to stay in the same pant. Can you turn back around for me, please? This is the navy pant with a single pleat. This pant with the side zip is also available in a flat front khaki that's designed the exact same way, with the zippers on the side. If you'd be seated for me, please. There's another style of pant that's also available for gentlemen. And I'm just going to drape it here for be able to show you. And this particular pant has a zipper from the hem up to just below the knee. This allows someone to dress with their socks and shoes on. Both sides zip like this. And as you can see, there's also a zipper protector, so it's not to cause any abrasions to the skin. This prevents someone from pulling down a caregiver and also from stumbling themselves, again, reducing the opportunity for a fall risk. These pants are available on the authored website, and again, there are 4 styles. The navy is the single pleat, and it comes with a waist zip or the hem zip, and the flat front khakis are also available with the waist zip and the hem zip. For the gentleman, there's also a top with a zippered opening. I'll just demonstrate by draping it across him. And we'll actually be demonstrating this on the female model, but I wanted to show you how it works on the gentleman. And it's a shirt that, again, goes on from starting at the standing position on the floor, having him sit down, and then it quickly and easily zips up around his neck. This is another style for the gentleman. Remove these two. Set these here for a minute. The polo shirt is available in the khaki and navy, red and navy, and also the ensign blue and navy. For gentlemen that prefer solid colors, it's available in a bright navy and also a solid black. These are the pieces that are available in the men's collection. And now we're going to move over to the female selection. We're going to start with this woman has struggles with dementia and Alzheimer, and she's actually not able to assist with dressing. This is one of the mornings when she just really is content to be seated, but she needs to be dressed. I'm going to open the openings on the pant and gently lift her legs, making sure that her shoe is not caught on the fabric. I'm going to pull it gently up above her knees, just to about mid-thigh, and then I'm going to gently lift her. And it's better if you have a walker or something for them to be able to be stabilized with, and then set her back down. And just straighten up the shirt so that the arm openings are at the top. I'm going to gently take her hand and put it into the arm opening. Slide that up on her shoulder. Come around to the other side, and again, just make sure the arm is accessible, the arm opening, and gently put her arm through. And sometimes it's necessary to just reach in and make sure that the arm is coming through completely. Pull the back up, and it's just a matter of zipping on both sides. Okay, and if I could have you stand up, please. And then it just falls and drapes down, and both pockets are available if she wants to put her hands in, which is often something that they're looking to do. This is a comfortable fabric, and I actually call it a washable cashmere. It's very comfortable, and it's easy on, easy off. I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm going to have you sit back down. And we're just going to unzip and do a reverse of what we did. And this is basically peeling it off the shoulder, and again, taking care to pull the arm out and make sure it comes completely away from the clothing. Both sides. All right, and then I'm going to gently ask her to stand up again, please. And then you might have to just assist for a second, down below the hip, and then gently have her sit back down, removing it over the feet. This is the double zip top. This is available in tomato red. The bright blue color that I'm wearing is called bright navy. There's also a taupe that has almost an oyster color, and there's a dark gray. And one of the things that I would like to demonstrate, again, I'm just going to drape this over. This is an opportunity to dress it up or down, to personalize it. This is a scarf that very easily goes over the head. And we can just demonstrate how that would cover, and it can completely change the look of the garment. This is a polo dress. I'll have you start with this being seated, okay. And I'm just going to unbutton. And this particular woman has just gotten to the point where dressing is a challenge. She's exhausted and she gets fatigued easily in the morning, or maybe she didn't sleep well the night before. So I'm simply unzipping, just like I did with the polo shirt, making sure the top's unzipped, unbuttoned. And again, we're going to start out by making sure that her hand goes completely through. Adjust it as we bring it up and over, and as you'll notice, she has on glasses, and I'm going to be able to put it over her head easily without agitating her by putting something over her head where she can't see, or asking her to remove her glasses. And this is something that as we age, it does become an issue with the population as they really become a little bit intimidated with that. Again, we're going to make sure that the hand goes completely through the dress, arm sleeve. Adjust the neck. And then you can partially zip before she stands up. And then I'm just going to ask her to stand up briefly, and then have her sit right back down. That's how quickly, and the risk of falling is much lower when they're not standing for an extended period of time. I'm going to button the top. And would you stand up for me, please? And this is an example of a dress that can easily be worn from early in the morning, late into the afternoon. And if she's got a special event in the evening, if she's living in a care community where they have social events, say on Friday evenings, or she's attending a family dinner and she wants to dress up, you can layer it over any type of shirt and then just add a scarf. Thank you. Put a little sparkle on here. And this is something that they can personalize. Oftentimes there's jewelry or scarves that they've had, and it makes them feel more comfortable. There you are. And if you want to turn around for them and let these see the back. And this is a dress that can be belted. It can add jewelry pieces to it. You can layer it. Want to have a seat for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. And it's a lightweight fabric.
Yes.
Easy on, easy off. So now we're going to demonstrate how easy it is to remove it as well. At the end of the day, she's probably more exhausted than she was, as is the caregiver. So we're going to unbutton first, and we're going to gently unzip the side all the way up. Both sides makes it easier on both the caregiver and the person being dressed. And then just gently assist her up slightly and then sit right back down. With this, it's even easier to remove it. Make sure the arm, I want to get your shirt underneath here, is going all the way through. And again, it's much easier on both if you gently remove both arms first. And then up and over the head while the glasses are still on. And that's how safely you can dress and undress and still maintain the dignity of the person that you are dressing and make it easy on the person that's offering the care with dressing. Most of the clothing comes with a place to write names or room numbers if you're living in a community. All of these garments are machine washable and they're made to endure multiple washes. They're all available on the authored website, www.authoredapparel.com. This is the collection of men's and women's. The clothing, as you can see, there are some different colors, lilac, bright blue, and the black dress for polo for women. There's also the double zip top and the double zip dress. And that's Authored Apparel, and I appreciate your time. Again, if you have any interest in discussing any of your adaptive needs, please feel free to visit our website, www.authoredapparel.com, or you're welcome to call me at area code 864-404-8222. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the demonstration that showed different types of adaptive clothing for a man and for a woman, as well as some styles that Brenda shared with us. So just a couple more questions, because I think now that people have had a chance to take a look at the clothing and see how adaptive it is, the most important question is, where and how can it be purchased? What do they need to know?
Absolutely. Well, the most convenient way is to visit my website, which is www.authoredapparel.com. And every one of the items that I demonstrated on you and Craig are available there. Women's sizes extra small to 2 extra large currently. Men's sizes small to 4X, and then pants in waist sizes 30 to 50. So they're able to purchase it there.
All right.
It's also available through Brookdale Long-Term Care Communities Personal Solutions. It's a marketing space within the long-term care. And I'm also a vendor with McKesson. So any of those 3 places, currently, it is available.
One thing that I was wondering is, say you order something and it doesn't fit. Can you get it exchanged, or can you return it? What's the policy?
Absolutely. As long as it's unworn, it has not been altered, and it has not been washed, then I'll be happy to exchange it or return it for a full refund.
All right. And I'm just wondering, is it possible, I mean, I was wondering if people can actually make adaptive clothing. I mean, if it has all these special items and features, is it possible to make them?
It's absolutely possible. Some people have indicated to me that it's what they've done to be able to manage with dressing options.
Sure.
It's not something that is as easy as you would think.
I would imagine.
A lot of people just cut and then drape, especially for their family members who may be dealing with hospice, and it's easier just to drape. There are different placements of clothing, and some people use Velcro. Be careful with that. It can cause some skin tears and actually skin abrasions.
Oh, all right.
Some clothing is available with magnets, and you have to be careful with that if you have any limitations with exposure to magnets. So there are all different things that you can do to clothing, and it's something that I think you will probably see a lot of that out there already.
And are you, I mean, how long have you been doing this now?
Going on 5 years.
5 years. Have you seen changes in the market and insofar as adaptive clothing? Are there more fashions? Are there more styles? And what do you see for the future?
There are absolutely more styles, and there are more and more groups coming to the market space, stores coming to the market space
Okay.
with specialty, a lot for disabilities. It's getting a lot more attention, which is necessary. Again, having struggled with it personally for my own personal wearing and also for as a caregiver. So I think you'll see more. There is more of a trend towards fashion. My line, I wouldn't consider a fashion-forward line. I accessorize it, and it's more classic styling, as we discussed. But there are some that want the trendier fashions, and they're out there. Tommy Hilfiger has come out with a line for the younger population, and it's got some of the traditional Tommy Hilfiger look. Silverts is another company that's been around for a long time, and they have fashions as well as Buck and Buck. Those are some of the more popular ones. And there's actually a shirt line that has magnetized shirt closures. So fortunately, more and more companies are addressing this tremendous need in the market space.
And it sounds like it's going to be more likely to be able to just be purchased at stores. You can walk in and purchase them instead of or in addition to ordering them online. Would you agree?
Yes, I hope that it comes to that. One of the concerns, though, that I would mention is when my mother was caring for my father, getting out to the marketplace was actually a difficult struggle. And so now with the convenience of online marketing, you can actually have it delivered to your door, and it's readily accessible and available without you having to find a caregiver or respite care to come in and sit while you do your shopping.
Interesting. Well, more to come,
More to come. Yes, absolutely.
So explain one more time now in terms of how people can see the line of clothing that you have in your company, Authored.
Authored.
Explain how people can get in touch, your website or...
Okay, I will be happy to do that. The website is www.authoredapparel.com. And may I give my telephone number?
Sure.
All right, the phone number is area code 864-404-8222. You can call at any time and we can lead you through to walk through the website. It's also available at Personal Solutions by Brookdale in any one of the Brookdale long-term care communities. And then McKesson, which is the regular McKesson medical and long-term care community type market space, it's also available through McKesson.
And I guess people can also just look online if they're not in this particular area or whatever, just adaptive clothing. Is that the correct
Absolutely.
term?
Adaptive clothing. Some people can Google and find clothing for the elderly, clothing for people with disabilities, or dressing challenges. And you'll find that there are also a couple that deal with children's clothing all the way up to the aging population.
All right. Well, I want to thank Brenda Wilton with Authored for joining me today to talk about adaptive clothing. And this program is broadcast Sundays at 5:30 p.m. and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on Comcast Channel 69 or Verizon Channel 38 in Arlington, Virginia. Or if you're out of the area, you can stream it live at those times on www.arlingtonmedia.org. You should also know that Aging Matters is on the radio. The program is broadcast every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on WERALP Arlington 96.7 FM. And if you want to listen to any previous Aging Matters radio program, you can visit www.mixcloud.com/Aging Matters. And finally, if you want to see both the radio and the television version of Aging Matters, it's posted on the Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Aging Matters WERA. So I just want to thank you for watching Aging Matters today. And until the next time, remember, age is just a number, not a label. I hope you can join me again on the next Aging Matters program.